Most likely in a nest.
Do something. And chaperones. Now we're going backwards. And something different this time. Go. Woo! Yep.
So what your tour is going to do is you're guys are going to be meeting different people that would have been here at that time with different types of people, okay? This station is our sailor station, all right? So when John Sutter came here in 1839, he actually came up river by boat, all right? Actually had 3 boats, and he had some workers that he brought with him. And all the workers were actually sailors, okay? And in fact, 10 of them were kind of unusual at that time. Anybody know who?
Because they're so small?
Because they're so small and tasty? No.
Because they love eating sandwiches?
Oh, that'd be a good answer.
Because it's multiple islands and they're all connected and they're all together?
Kind of like lettuce, tomato,
Bacon.
good answer. But actually they're called the Sandwich Islands because when they were discovered or found by Captain Cook, the sponsor of his journey was the Earl of Sandwich from England.
Earl of Sandwich?
Earl of Sandwich. So they called it the Sandwich Islands. Okay, so we have Hawaiians out here, okay? And they stayed with Sutter, working with him all through up and through the gold rush, okay? Now sailors were pretty handy people at that time, okay? You boys, if you're a couple of years older, you would have been eligible to go on board a ship, all right? And when you went out to sea, sometimes you wouldn't come home for 2, 3, 5, or even 10 years, okay? Now, on board a ship, if you were brand new, you had to learn how things ran. And this is what they called learning the ropes, because there was an awful lot of ropes on a ship, okay? You had to learn how to move things, big heavy things, because pretty much everything would be stacked and put in barrels, okay? Little small barrels like I'm sitting on, with a great big barrel you see, okay? They call it a monkey's fist because when we'd make this, usually we'd put something in the middle of it to make it heavy, maybe like a small cannonball. So it was like a monkey's hand grabbing onto something, okay? And we made it heavy because we take this short section, we detach it onto a long section of rope, and it became what they called a heaving line. So if you had like two ships come close together and you wanted to bring stuff back and forth, we take this, and when you swing it and you let it go, that weight pulls the rope all the way across. Lands on the other ship, pull it across, we tie it, and then we can bring stuff back and forth. Hold on a second. And that's very handy to have on there. I didn't put anything inside here because I didn't want anybody bonking themselves on the head, but we'll actually pass this around. You guys can see it. Okay. Now, besides ropes, sailors were really good at sailing, of course. That was handy for John Sutter because he had 4 boats that he kept busy going down the American River to the Sacramento River, down all the way down to the bay. They were bringing stuff that they made up here down there to sell it, and they'd bring stuff and people back up river, okay? So, good to have them. Also on board ship, sailors would learn how to do woodworking, metalworking, okay? And that came in very handy out here. Also, on board a ship, sailors were expected to be able to protect the ship. So they would learn how to run cannon, also guns and swords. And with Sutter's Fort, he needed people to help protect his things and his people, so they were very handy with that. And also, do you think it'd be on board a ship, you got like 400 or 500 people on some of the big ships? Do you think it's handy to have some cooker? They would tar them, okay? They used the tar that came out of the pine trees and that. And this hat is actually made out of the same material as my hat, but it's tarred up so it'll protect it. It also makes it kind of stiff, so it acts almost like a hard hat, okay? So if somebody drops something, thank you, it'd actually bounce off. I'll pass that around, you guys can feel it. If you want to put it on, put it on. And the other thing we have, what's this called?
A timer?
Called no timer. Well, it's a timer, but you in the back right there. Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
It's called a time glass.
Not a time glass. You're very close. You in the back?
Those are, I believe those are called, one of them sand glass.
Ooh, very good. Most people think these are called hourglasses, but they're actually called sand glasses because they come in all different sizes. This one only measures out about a half hour. We'd have ones that would measure out an hour, 2 hours, even 5 minutes or 10 minutes, all depending what you wanted to time, okay? Now the half-hour one was good for the sailors that were keeping watch on board ship. And also here at the fort, they set up a bell so that they had guards at night would go around, make sure everything was okay. And every half hour, when the sand ran out, they'd flip it over, start it over again, and they would ring the bell. Now their system of bells went, they'd start at like noon, and at 12:30 they'd ring the bell once. At 1 o'clock they'd ring it twice. How many times do you think they'd ring it at 1:30?
If they rung the bell 2 times at 1, I think that they'll probably do it at like 4 times? 5 times?
At 1:30 you ring
3 times?
3 times. So 1:30 would be, and then 2 o'clock would be 4 times, and you go all the way up to 8 o'clock. And how many times, or 4 o'clock? How many times would they ring it at 4 o'clock?
8 times? 8
times, very good. And then they'd start over again. Okay, they wouldn't go past 8. So at 4:30, how many times would they ring it? No.
6.
1. They'd start at 1 again, go all the way up to 8 o'clock where they'd ring it 8 times, and at 8:30 they'd start at 1 again on there. So this let everybody know that everything was okay. And also the bell here at the fort let everybody know when work was starting, when meals were being served, and also you get to carry the sign. Both hands. You're number 2, you try harder, okay? So what I want you to do is go out there, across the sidewalk, and just stand over there. Go ahead and go stand out there. Don't worry. Okay, face that way. Okay, what I want the rest of you guys all line up right behind them. Don't forget anything. Nice straight long line. John Sutter liked a nice military line. Okay. There, what you're going to do is, Taylor, you're going to lead your group around the building. When you go that way, there'll be a tent set up. You'll see our vaquero there with the saddle and that. You go right up to him, and he will take care of you guys, okay? Everybody, follow your sailor.
What do you say? Great job, sailor. See a tent? Do you see a tent?
I really like spending money. Yeah.
There's the tent.
We got 7 minutes. We got to go like crazy here. Everybody have a seat. Come on, squeeze in there. Tighten it up. Tighten. Hurry, hurry, hurry. And boys, if there's not enough room for girls, if you gentlemen lead, get up now. Very good, sir. We're going to get to do extra stuff. Okay, squeeze it in there.
Because I don't want to laugh.
There you go. Come on, get in there. Squeeze, right there. Hurry. Squeeze. Here's my rules. You got to speak up loud because we got a lot of noise here. And I want to hear you. Okay? Where are you from? Wood Lake? Where's that? Where? What town's that?
Wood Lake Elementary.
I mean, in town here? Yeah, sure. Second segment? Okay. Well, good. I'm doing a vaquero. What is a vaquero?
Just get them all together.
Come on. What?
I think it's that.
No, it's a person that does what? What's it?
Looks of it. Looks of horses.
He works with horses, yes, and he tends what?
Cows.
Cows. There you go. He's a cowboy, basically. Now, he could be any nationality. He could be a European, he could be a U.S. guy, he could be Indian. Even most of Sutter's vaqueros were Miwok Indians. When he got here in 1839, he noticed 20 ranchos. Those are like ranchos, right? And they were into the cattle raising. He says, well, I want to get into some of that action, but I got to get some workers. So we got this Indian friends to get to know him to help him be the cattle tenders. Why cows? Why not a bunch of hamsters? What are good about cows?
Because the fat that they have is very useful.
Yes, that's number 2 we'll talk about. What else? What's number 1 about a cow that they got, that we want?
It's either steak or milk.
That's 3. I want the number 1 one. 10.
Skin.
Their hide. Yes, their hide. It's a big old hide. Come on, let's get this together. Come on, right here. Hold that baby in. Oh my gosh, look how big he is. You want to be the cow?
Put on my light. That's
There he is. Look at that cow. That big old cow. Okay, have a seat. Yeah. So, the cow hide was the most important part of the cow. They were called California, oh God, there's a name for it. They were worth $2. California greenbacks. All right, and that was the most important part. Stay. Come on now. All right, so, and what did they use those for? They, stay there, he's still alive. He's still alive. Good. All right, so, they shipped those back in a ship. Has anybody got a pencil or write it down on your thing here? The book is called 2 Years Before the Mast. Richard Penny Regina Jr. talks about 1830s in California, how the hide and tallow industry was great. Hides were shipped back east, and they made industrial belts out of them, and other products, shoes maybe. And those were big industry. The second industry was the fat, like we talked about. What did they make out of the fat?
Candles.
I hear feet scuffing. Don't scuff feet, please. Candles, yes. They put it in a big pot like that, melted it down, and they dipped candles. They made lighting devices. Yes?
Didn't they also make soap?
Soap could be made out of different things, out of the fat, and you could have lye from the ashes. And that's a whole different process. But this was the main thing. They could even ship that big pile of that stuff out. They put it in on a stick to it and ship it out like a big popsicle. Somebody they could make their own candles. So when did you get your work done? Day or night? Day, so you don't have to burn these up. Because these take a lot of energy to make. Oh, golly. It's hard to make them. You have to dip, dip, dip. So, gotta be quick.
Maybe it can be a cup?
Yes,
With a
a
little
cup.
shaping?
You can drink out of it, but you better drink it all. When you lay down, it's going to spill. Or you can cut it off and put a wood stopper in there, make a flat bottom cup. Or you can put a stopper in here, cut this off, and put a stick and drill it out, put a stick in it, and then you can carry your gunpowder in it. One string, and that's for your gun. So many uses for this. It's the same material as your fingernails, by the way. Like keratin. Keratin. All right, now, here's a picture of the cowboy. Or two. Real fancy. Oh, they were fancy. They made all their stuff. We had a guy here that worked here a little while ago. He's moved on. But he made everything from his boots clear up to his hat. He didn't make the hat, but he shaped it. But he made everything else. He sewed his own clothes. He made his own spurs. Of course, he put them spurs, actually. But when he left, I said, thank you. Because he made everybody else that makes stuff around it look sick. He was too good. So, fancy guys. Now, they were real proud of their horsemanship. If they wanted to move from this point right here to the gate where he came in, would he walk? No, he'd ride. He wanted to show how good of a rider he was. He was powerful. Proud of that. Now, what was his job? Was to round up cows. Now, everybody's cows are together. They got a sword. Put a mark on you. Says, what's this? What's these letters look like?
A.
How about a L, an H, and a J, maybe? Yeah. Here's Sutter's. J-A-S. J-A-S. So try that at home with your school. Get your school letters and make a brand. Or do your individual ones. Put that on your homework. Then the teacher will have a book registering whose is who. And when you turn your homework in, she's got to figure out whose is who. The driver nuts. But she'll be doing branding on your homework. Sounds fun?
Yes.
There you go. Now, let's see what else he's got. Oh, he's got, here's some spurs again. You wear those, and how do you make the horse go? You poke him? No, you touch it. You just touch it. He knows, oh, I better get going, or I'm going to get poked. And he had dingle balls here, or not dingle balls? What do you call these? Almost like jingle balls. But they're little noisemakers, so when you walk, you can hear yourself. This one's hung up. There it is. But anyway, real fancy stuff. Yes?
Do you guys, do you have like those whipper things where you hit the horse with it?
That's good. Well, I'm forgetting all my stuff. I usually do the trapper. But those are called a cord. A cord. Yeah, it's stacked it. Talking about things like that. How about the rope? He has to make his own rope. This one is made out of raw hide, made out of the raw skin before it's tanned or made soft like that. This is woven together. You could also make rope out of the horse's mane or his tail hair. And you could also, let's see, you could also make rope out of plant material. So rope was very important. You're going to head, there'd be a header and a heeler if you're going to catch a cow. One guy would get him by the head, and dally around the horn. And the other guy would get him by the feet. He'd be the heeler, and pull him on his horn, pull the cow over, and you're going to be able to brand him. So all that horsemanship was very good. And guess where all them events you see at the rodeos come from? From those skills they want to brag about and show off. That's where all them events at the rodeo come from. Yes?
But when they skinned off the skin from the cow, what did they do with the cow?
Well, they chopped it up into steaks and meat. And then they'd use the horn. Sometimes they used the bones. Later they found out all them bones, you grind them all up and it works as fertilizer.
What about the milk in the cow?
Well, those kind of cows were dairy cows. Those were different. We didn't want to kill them off because we wanted to get the milk from them. Now, you got to have cows. I mean, you got to have.
So we shaved the bulls?
Yeah, that's all that breeding stuff, you know, where they make the other cows. Now, saddles. You got a saddle there. They got a horn. You use that. Hold on a second. Hold that. Get in the line. Get in the line. Get in the line. Come on, form a line over here. Okay.
Quickly pick in and then go.
Go look around a little bit more.
Whoa.
Hey, just write it down, folks. Write down third Saturday of every month. Come here and see us. Except for this October. We don't do it in church. But every other month, the third weekend, we have more docents here. It's wild and crazy.
The pole, and what you guys are looking at there is actually money. So when Sutter first got out here to California, the people that came and joined him didn't really trust paper money like we have today. It's because banks put that all back out, or put that out back east. And what happens if you make that long trip out here, and then one day you decide you want to go home with all your money, and you make that long trip back east, and the bank that gave you your money isn't there anymore. Now you're just holding on to a worthless stack of paper. It's no good. So people want coins. Coins are excellent. That's a piece of silver or a piece of gold that you can hold in your hand. You know it's always going to be valuable. But coins are kind of hard to find out here in the middle. Right there on the end.
A skunk.
Skunk. Next to him is a fox. Next to that one, anyone know what that is?
Flying squirrel. A
No,
cheetah.
it's a bobcat. And then that guy right there is a coyote. What about him? Anyone know?
Flying squirrel.
Badger.
Otter.
This one's an otter. Raccoon. And then beaver. And beaver here was the most valuable animal. Ever since Europeans have been here in the Americas, they've been out here looking for beaver. And just until shortly before Sutter got here, beaver were worth quite a bit of money. So that's what they were after. And I'll show you why. So we have a beaver fur here. Take a look at that. So they have this outer hair right there that you see right now. That's called their guard hair. Underneath that, you guys see that thick stuff underneath?
Yeah.
See it? So that thick undercoat is what made the beaver so valuable. And trappers would go out, trap the beaver. They wouldn't take the time to tan him up and make it soft like that. They're going to leave him right like this in rawhide. Hear that? They're going to hoop him up, and then they're going to stack him into big bales. And the fur company is going to ship him back east to hat makers. And then hat makers are going to separate that outer guard hair there from that good thick stuff underneath that I just showed you. They're going to take a chemical solution, and they're going to turn that fur into felt to make beaver felt hats. So have you guys ever seen Abraham Lincoln's big top hats?
Yes.
So a lot of hats like that are made out of beaver felt. You can still buy beaver felt hats today. They're still really expensive. Back then they were incredibly expensive. Only the rich of the rich can afford them. Normal people like me, the trappers, not even close. We can't get there. I'm going to put this little piece of wood that floats right there on top. That way if something gets stuck in our trap, it's going to hopefully knock that float off. We'll see it floating, and then we'll know something's in our trap and it's worth it to climb back in that water. But the beaver's not going to come stick his foot in that trap on purpose, so we have to lure him. And beavers are territorial, and they all produce this oil in their scent glands. It's called castoreum, and each beaver has his own scent. So each time we catch one, we're going to take the oil from those scent glands and mix it all up together in a jar. Then we're going to smear a little bit of this on our bait stick. So this here is real beaver castoreum. I need you to give that a whiff for me and tell everyone what it smells like. What does that smell like? Good or bad? Bad. It doesn't smell too good. So we're going to take a little bit of that, smear it on our bait stick. Then the beaver is going to swim up. He's going to think someone's in his pond who's not supposed to be there. He's going to go investigate. He's going to give it a whiff. His foot's going to get stuck in that trap. He's going to try to swim away. And the pond's going to get deeper. And eventually he's going to sink down to the bottom. Trap's too heavy for him to swim up to the top, so he's going to drown. Hopefully knock our float off. We'll see it floating, and then we know it's worth it to get up there, skin him out, and make him into a hat. So that's what we were after. And even though beaver was the most valuable, we were trapping other animals also. So, what was this one again? Raccoon. And this one? Otter. So huge demand in China, actually, for those two animals. So they used them as collar trim, cuff trim to make their clothes look nice, to make them comfortable. But China has a lot to trade back. So they're trading back things like porcelain, they're trading back teeth, maybe for the skunks there on the end, or the fox next to him. But we're going to pretend it's our beaver trap. I'm going to set it, you're going to stand back, we're all going to count to 3, and then you're going to stick that stick right in the middle, okay? And we're going to make sure we stand back so we're safe. This goes down like that, we open it up. Let's watch our fingers so we don't break any of them. Alright, so you guys ready? Let's count to 3. Right there in the middle. Oh! You got you. Now you sink down to the bottom, and we're going to turn you into a very nice hat. Do you guys have any questions for me? Yeah?
Major journey to Sutter's Fort.
1830.
You're talking years, so it would be in the 1840s, but we would start over here in Missouri, out that area. That's where everybody would congregate, and then we'd come all the way to Sutter's Fort. Does anybody know how far that was?
I'd say about 8 months.
It was a little shorter than that, but I'm thinking miles.
100.
Well, 2,000 miles, yes. And what do you think you would travel to get there? Somebody different.
That wagon.
The wagon, yes. Now, do you think you would have ridden in that wagon? No. The wagon was used for all your supplies. You would need to carry enough supplies for now just a month. How many months were you on the? You're gonna go right. And when you say ha, they're gonna go left. And then what are you gonna say when you want to go?
Yeah.
Yep. And what about stop?
Right, we're gonna go in the wheel.
Whoa! Yeah. Okay. So now, whenever the oxen to pick up their yokes, wheels pick up their wheels. The pioneers are gonna make sure everything stays together. It's a plane. Now we're gonna. What do you say when you want them to? Go. Okay. Let's say it loud. Go. Now we're gonna go. Right. You wanna say?
Pioneers. This is how we spend our time at historical sites.
Sutter stood in 1867. In 1867, that's all that stood.
Yeah.
Huh. So that was reconstructed in 1894.